Chodesh Tov, everybody. Oh my God, this is fantastic. Thank you, Shoshana. Maybe I'm going to go and sing. And my husband doesn't hear me. Okay, Chodesh Tov! Shechayanu, we are back on the Moshav! Because the world puts like a magnifying glass. Someone put a magnifying glass on everything. And of course, when you do that, you see all kinds of things that you usually don't see. And that's why, if they would check me like a year ago or 6 months ago, I would always have a fever. They would always send me away. Okay, so, what is this? Maybe because I can only see with one eye. I see it like with a real mighty magnifying glass everywhere. Does you really feel? Okay, nobody asked me what I feel, so I'm not going to say anything. Chodesh Tov! We're ready for Leah. Leah is going to come right now. Leah Golomb.
I'm here. It's mamish a miracle that I made it, because for the last few days I've had no internet, not on my computer or on my phone, but I couldn't even get into Gmail. So I'm so happy that Kesher came through my WhatsApp, and I don't know, it works. So I'm excited. Okay, I'll take that as a yes.
At the yes, hello, Chodesh Tov, Leah.
Don't we have to mute ourselves?
Okay, so first of all, good Chodesh. Good Chodesh, everybody.
Chodesh. Can you make it louder? We can barely hear you.
I can't make myself loud. My phone is on as loud as it goes, so I don't know what else to do. Okay, so good Chodesh.
Good Chodesh. Is there a secret?
Okay, so Leah asked me to talk about Tiferet Malchut, which it's a little bit challenging, but I'm gonna try to take the challenge and hold it up. So here's the thing: Tiferet is the idea of Chesed and Gevura combined. Avram is Chesed, Yaakov is Yitzchak is Gevura, and Yaakov is Tiferet. The combination of Chesed and Gevura, and that's Tiferet. But Tiferet is a little bit more than just a combination. It's also the beautiful harmony between things. It's a harmonious balance between Chesed and Gevura, and actually a harmonious balance between almost everything, all the midot. And Tiferet Malchut, Malchut on one hand is referring to my own Malchut. What are the things that I'm in charge of? What do I have authority of? Whether it's of other people or an organization, or whether it just means that I have Malchut within myself, the things that I rule in myself, things that I take care of. I'm just going to put my glasses on. Oh, no. Okay. And so a little bit Tiferet Malchut is the idea of the harmonious balance within the kingship, within authority. On the other hand, it also relates to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Melech Malchei HaMelachim, the biggest king of kings of all. And that means, in a certain sense, that what is the harmony, what is the balance in receiving Hashem as our king? So I was thinking that a lot of the things in this month of Sivan are also very much connected to this idea of harmony. For instance, the letter of the month of Sivan is a Zion. And Zion is written by making a Vav with a little chukchik on top, as if it has a little keter, the keter of Malchut, a little bit of crown of Malchut sitting on top of the Vav. Now the Vav is always, when you put a Vav between two words, it always means and. Ani va'ata, I and you. Ani v'hi, me and she, right? There's that place that the Vav is the connection. The Vav is also the connection from above to below, from below to above. So the Vav, the Zion is as if crowning my ability to be able to come together with all my senses in order to receive the King. in order to take upon myself the kingship that I need in order to make myself small in order to receive God's kingship. Sounds a little convoluted, but actually it makes beautiful sense. And this idea of the letter of the Zion is as if I'm wearing the crown of my balanced harmony. And there's something very beautiful about that idea. In order for us to have received the Torah, it says at first, "Vayichen ha'am," that the nation was camped together, and Vayachen is singular, lashon yachid, and instead of being that they all camped in some kind of plural word, it's just talking about that. That as if Rashi says, Ke'ish echad belev echad, one man with one heart. We were so connected. We let go of any petty jealousies between us, any desires, we saw the kavod of everyone. V'yachen ha'am means that everybody was motzeh chen be'enei hasheni. Everybody saw the beauty and grace of the person next to them and around them and all surrounding, which is such an amazing idea that in order to receive the Torah, two things were necessary. One, we had to be like one person with one heart. We had to all be dedicated with Mesirat Nefesh to receive the Torah. And on the other hand, we also had to be connected, to each other. And we also had to be connected within ourselves to who we are, to take upon ourselves God's Malchut. And the other thing that's very beautiful is, as we know, it says Yisrael, Yeshishim Ribo Otiot LeTorah. There are 600,000 letters in the Torah. Now, I've never counted them, but I'm not sure that there is exactly 600,000. But also, if you include all the Kri and the Ketib, all the places where it's written one way, but then it's pronounced another way, that adds another dimension to the letters. There's that many letters in the Torah, and every single one of us is at our source, at our root soul, is a letter in the Torah. That's why there's this beautiful idea that it says that we stood around the mountain while we were receiving the Torah, and that if you could have had a bird's eye view of everyone standing around, and if you had the eyes to see the letter of each person that's at the root of each person's neshama, we would have spelled out the Torah, starting with Bereshit bara Elokim, Bet Aleph, all the way around La'enei Kol Yisrael, to the last words of the Torah, that we actually spelled out the Torah. And what does that really mean? That means that each and every one of us has a certain chelek to the Torah. We have a certain letter that is only us. Now, in a Sefer Torah, if one letter is missing or messed up in any way, the whole Torah is pasul. So in other words, if one person wasn't there, then we couldn't have received the Torah. So it's not only that we were humbled before everybody, we had to all be there. Like each and every one of us is significant, kind of like the secret of Bamidbar, this last week's Parsha in the counting, that it wasn't just the counting that there was this many people. It was the counting that each single person made a deep impression and counted. You can count each day, you can make each day count, right? I think David Zeller coined that expression. At least that's where I heard it first. And it's so beautiful because it means each person counts. Each person has an element that nobody else has. There's a certain piece of me that nobody else could do what I have to do, what my avoda is in the world. And when we're all together harmoniously balanced with each other, with chen, and without kina, without jealousy, without ta'ava, without looking for cover that doesn't belong to us, then basically we are able to receive the Torah. So a little bit this Tiferet Sheba Malchut is making a harmonious balance amongst myself, and then I can make balance with all that's around me so that I can receive the Malchut that Hashem is sending down to me. Malchut in my own sense of how I could be in charge of my own body, my own neshama, and also how I can receive God's Malchut. Such a beautiful idea that each person, like each of the days that we're counting the Omer, we're counting a different aspect of some sphira. And we started with Chesed Sheba Chesed, and then Gvura Sheba Chesed, and all the way on through all of the different sphirot. And we're finally in the week of Malchut as we're drawing close to the end, which is just the beginning of the month of Sivan, which brings us to the goal, the ultimate goal of receiving the Torah. So now I don't want to bum anybody out, but obviously the way we received the Torah the first time around, we didn't exactly receive it 100%. There was something that was missing, because otherwise, how would we have possibly been dancing around a golden calf 40 days later? So, in Yiddishkeit, there's no such thing as just commemorating a day. When we have a chag, when we have a holiday, it's not just about remembering what happened that day 2,000, 3,000 years ago. That's not really, it's actually 3,000 something years ago that we received the Torah in the year 2,448. Now we're in the year 5,780. So I can't do math, but it's a long time. It's quite a few millennia there between when we originally received the Torah and this Chag of Shavuot, when we're going to receive the Torah again. So when we receive the Torah again, now we have to do it in such a way that we haven't ever done it before. The way we received the Torah last year wasn't enough. Now we have to receive it this way, in a new head, in a new way, so that we won't be dancing around a golden calf 40 days later. Oh, somebody just wrote me 3,332 years ago. That's good, because I never would have been able to figure that out now, but I appreciate it. Wait 1 sec. Okay. What was I going to say? Oh yeah. So on one hand, this coming Shavuos is marking the day that we receive the Torah, but it's also as if it's happening again on the day of Shavuot, which is this coming Yom Chamishi. It's going to be beautiful. We have an opportunity to do it again, and all of us were already there, because all the neshamas were there at Matan Torah, even all the potential converts, everybody who has anything to do with Yiddishkeit, were all connected on that day at Har Sinai, whether they were in their bodies or just represented by neshamot. And now here we are again, and we have another opportunity to receive it in such a way that we couldn't possibly make a mistake with the golden calf again. And part of that is learning our own Tiferet, when we have a harmonious balance of our chesed and our gevura, then we are able to really be the beautiful person that we're meant to be. Tiferet is not just the balance, but it's also beauty. It means something splendiferous. That's what Tiferet, it comes from Lashon Pa'er, which also, kind of means glory. So in other words, we are all gloriously, gloriously accepting God's Malchut on us. Now, in order to us to receive God's Malchut, we have to receive our own Malchut. In order to receive God's harmony, we have to understand that we are in part embodied in that harmony ourselves. So I was thinking that in order to receive the Torah this year, we had to internalize every single one of the sefirot from the beginning, from the day after, from after the Seder night, the night after Seder, all the way to the day before Shavuos. We basically really only count 49 days. And then the 50th day, which is the day of the receiving, that Hashem counts for us. We only count right up to receiving the Torah, and after that, Hashem takes over. So we have to be in the position to receive, and we can only be doing that when we humble ourselves in our harmonious way of receiving all the different aspects of who we are, and acknowledging who we are, and receiving our own authority, because basically without your own Malchut, how could you receive God's Malchut? Without realizing that you could be in charge of yourself, unless you're aware that you could be in charge of yourself at least, then there's no way that you could receive the charge of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So this coming Shavuos, it's as if Hashem is charging us You know how you charge your phone? We're going to have to be plugged into the socket of great kedusha and great tahara in order, purity and kedusha. How do you say kedusha in English? Holiness, in order to receive the godliness of Hashem. And when we do that, each and every one of us it'll be as if the letter within us is lightening up. And then again, once again, we will be surrounding the mountain with the whole Torah spelled out. We'll be able to receive the Torah in the way that we are. So I want to bless each and every one of us that we could be on that level to really look inside today in order to be ready for that day, the day that's coming. And, when we realize how every single day is a preparation, it's just mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling that we have this opportunity, that Hashem chose us, Asher Bachar Banu. He chose us completely in order to be his recipients, to be the vessels within which we can receive the Torah. And a little bit, it means I have to be the Torah, because that letter of mine that is the Torah, that has to have that connection. I need to be that vav between me and the Torah, between me and all of Am Yisrael. It kind of goes in every direction. Me and all the people around me, and me and Hashem, and me and the Torah. And that's why it says, Kudshabrichu Oraita Yisrael Chadhim. That really it's one thing, Torah, God, and Am Yisrael, we are one thing. And this is our opportunity to become part of what that one thing is. And I bless us that we should open our vessels as wide as we possibly can in balance with each other, so that we could possibly receive the Torah in such a way that we never received it before, not last year, not the year before. When we know that we've really received the Torah completely, then we'll be able to really bring about the Geula Shalema. And that's our job. Our job is to be thinking now that we're not just receiving the Torah so I could take on mitzvot. Obviously, I also want to take on the mitzvot, because that's God's laws of how I can align myself with where I need to be in order to receive completely from Hashem. So I'm begging us all to, first of all, to want that reception, to want to be that vessel, that keeper of the Torah. And I don't just mean keeping it by keeping laws, but by holding it, and by holding it sacred in our heart, at the root of our own neshama. Let the root of my letter connect up exactly where it needs to be, and let Hashem align us with where we need to be in order to spell out the Torah once again. And I bless us that this week we should be on the level. Even if we're not on the level, we should just want that level enough that Hashem is going to help us be that level. Sometimes you think that you have to work so hard to get to a certain place, but really sometimes you have to work so hard to let go and let Hashem do it for us. So I bless us that we're on that beautiful wavelength, that we can mamish be connected to Hashem through our own Tiferet, through our own Hod and Netzach, and all the different midot that Hashem has graced us with, in order to be the perfect vessel to be holding the Torah. Anyway, I hope that makes some sense. And thank you very much. Thank you, Leah. This is kind of an amazing thing. Although I'm talking to myself, I don't see any people. But I just want to thank everybody for being here. And because we can't do it without you. We can only do it with you. We can only do it with each other. And I bless us we'll be able to continue and rise up heavier and higher and more beautiful each time. Anyway, thank you, Leah. Thank you, everybody. I see.
Leah, can you stand up in the camera?
With your son?
Stand up here. Here, Leah. Yeah, one second.
I still just see my face.
You were fabulous. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
With
Talk to the mic?
No.
You stand like this?
She doesn't wear it because she's afraid to try. Leah, can you hear me? Leah Golomb, if you swipe to the left, you'll be able to see our faces.
Yeah, I see 3 people.
Keep going. Swipe again. You'll see all of us.
Oh, just keep going.
That's right.
Oh, how cool. I see Meira. Hi, Meira. Anta. Oh, okay. Oh, this is so cool. I wish I had seen people see this on YouTube. So much easier than like talking to yourself.
Hi, Leah.
Hi. Oh, how nice. Oh, Mimi.
Leah, stand in. Okay, turn
Okay,
around.
but one thing I did forget to do was to dedicate the shiur, and I really love to do that. Do I have a moment to just say the dedications?
Yes, you do. Go ahead. I'm after you.
Oh, okay, so I really love, I feel like it's such a strong energy when women are together learning that we create an actual energy force that can bring healing and loving to so many people. So I just want to send it down to all the people that are suffering, first of all, from the coronavirus, whoever that is, not just from the symptoms themselves, but also from the fear. Hashem should send a blessing, and also to Chaim Menachem ben Leah. So many people who have different forms of cancer that they mamish need the healing. Yisrael Gadal ben Batya and Shoshana ben Chaya and Sinai ben Miriam, and also the people who have all kinds of other illnesses or troubles. Arni Cheskel of Yisrael Zera Chodesh ben Leah Dvor Kvitia, Elnatan Semach ben David ben Leah Dvor Kvitia, Elia bat Nama, and Miriam Rivka bat Sarah Perel, and I'm kind of drawing a blank, but all the other people, Hashem should mamish b'toch shar cholei amo Yisrael, give a refuah to all the people that need it, and shalom bayis to the people who need it, and their children, and their chinuch, and their zivug and zivugim, and I just bless everyone to be able to reach out and grab all that you need, that Hashem should be just handing out all these gifts of everything that we need. Anyway, thank you so much.
Amen. Thank you. Good Chodesh.
Good Chodesh, good Chodesh.
Good Chodesh. Good Chodesh.
Okay, Leah, go. Lessons.
What?
Thank you, Leah.
Thank you, Leah.
Thank you.
Leah, you always say what I exactly need to hear, and that is so awesome. Okay, you will be able to let go. As you see, it's because it's Tiferet Sivan Malchut, so we are dressed in blue, purple, and yellow. We try to do our best. Now, we're waiting for Penta. I thought you were going to come here.
I didn't know that. I thought we were doing this on Zoom.
And then it's fun.
It didn't.
Then come
As
here.
far as I knew, this was a Zoom event. So